In today's modern parenting, temper tantrums, mood swings, anger, and frustration, these are all big emotions that kids sometimes deal with.
And to be honest, adults too. But let's stick with kids for this, because according to a recent study from the National Institutes of Health, the pandemic had a major impact on the mental and emotional well-being of children. Joining us now is licensed therapist with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, Jody Baumstein. Jody, thank you so much for being with us. You know, everybody has feelings, but what are we talking about here? What is this quote-unquote big emotion, and how should parents try and prepare for these emotions in their kids?
Well, we want to remember the fact that we're born with that full range of emotion, but with no ability to self-regulate. So this is a skill. This is something we have to teach kids and help them practice over time, just like reading or anything else. So it's really not something that's personal, even though in the moment it feels really hard. We have to remember that they're having a hard time. It's not that they're trying to give us a hard time, and we need to help them through it, not around it.
I love that. And as kids are having this hard time, honestly, the parents can be having a hard time too, right? Navigating this. How can a parent proactively help their child in the moment? And how should they deal with their kids' big emotions without maybe losing their cool themselves?
Well, when you're in the thick of it, what's really important to remember is that they need connection, not isolation. And a child's biggest worry is that you're going to leave them and that they won't be lovable. So even though it's frustrating, we need to stay with them in it, because that teaches them that this isn't too big and too scary for me. Because the reality is it feels terrible for them. It's really scary to be that dysregulated and out of control. And so when we stay with them, we're showing them, I can handle this. And we're also helping them because we're able to co-regulate. When we bring the temperature down, they can see that energy. They can breathe with us and kind of work through it. But again, we're also really reminding them that your emotions aren't going to scare me away, and this is not going to threaten our connection and attachment.
So what is the best first step for a parent to take if you notice that your child is starting to have one of these big moments? I mean, is it physically get down lower, get to their level? Is it hold a hand? How do you connect with them to make sure that they know you're there with them and that you're also hearing their valid feelings?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's helpful is to really separate the feeling from the behavior. And this can be tricky, but it's important. So we can genuinely validate the feeling. I get it. You're frustrated. I believe that you're frustrated and it makes sense to me. And, not but and you can't hit your brother. Here's what we can do instead. So you're offering them different things. And this is a very active role you're taking. You are teaching them what to do. If we don't want them to do that, we have to give them alternatives. And when we say things like, calm down, don't, stop, it's not actually teaching them. It's just kind of shaming and blaming them.
And how can a parent differentiate between emotions that maybe are just happening in a moment versus maybe a larger pattern that may indicate something more serious? I think of anxiety or depression.
Right. Yeah, great question. And so what we want to be mindful of here, the patterns. We all have our ups and downs and our moments, but is this becoming really excessive? Is it becoming more frequent or really intense when it's happening? And at the end of the day, you don't have to figure this out on your own. That's why there are licensed professionals you can consult with, but just trust your instincts. Remember that you know your child, you know them really well. Don't forget that. So if something is telling you that something's off, go get it checked out. Talk to somebody who can help you really figure it out.
And very quickly, final word, how do we model good behavior for our kids?
One of the best things we can do is talk openly and neutrally about feelings ourselves. When we do that, we're normalizing it. When we say that anger is a negative emotion, which it's not going to stop us from feeling it. It's just going to create a sense of shame when we do. So instead, let them know all feelings are okay and normal.
Jody Baumstein, thank you so much. Wonderful advice. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and thank you for watching. We got a lot more news ahead.
You're watching NBC News Daily.